Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew here, back at you with another video. And as I promised, I actually can't even remember what day this is. I think this is day 15, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the movie I'm going to do for today is an Australian film, and that is Wolf Creek. This is directed by Greg McLean, who actually had a film come out last year, and that was The Darkness. That was with Kevin Bacon. This is how he got his fame. And this film basically takes place in Australia too. And I think it takes place in the outback, if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of driving in the middle of this desert, and they're looking for this basically campground that's called Wolf Creek. And as they get there, you're introduced. There's these college students. So there are 3 college students. And they're the main characters, and once they get there, they start just camping out. And so from there, they meet this gentleman, and all seems to be going well. He's a nice guy. And then, as you can imagine, all hell breaks loose from there. So my thoughts on this film. Does it say something on here about it? Yeah, not since the original TCM has terror felt so real. Well, they're wrong about that. But this says Blair Witch the suspense of Blair Witch meets the horror of TCM. Well, I agree with Blair Witch being pretty suspenseful, but TCM being horrorful. It depends on what you mean by horror. There's nothing on-screen horrific about TCM. As much as people want to say there's not. But this film does have that feel of TCM and has the same kind of premise as TCM. This is a much better, well-crafted film than TCM is, like as in like cinematography. It's a much more clean looking and not so like grindhouse and very TCM shot well still, but this film it's 2010 is this 2004? Wow, I'm off. 2004, yeah. 2010, where'd that come from? Yeah, so the times change, within 30 years of like filmmaking. So this this does look more modern in its filmmaking techniques and everything, cinematography wise. But the acting's still really well done too. You can tell this is a very, very low budget film. Just the set pieces, just the way everything's filmed, you can tell it is a very low budget. But still, that works. Now, the one thing I will say is it's 50 minutes into the film until any horror starts. So if you're not a fan of those kinds of films that it takes a long time for things to get going, I would steer clear of this, or at least have your know what's going on. This is an hour and 40-minute film. And another critique that I'm going to have yet again with one of these first-time watches is it feels an hour and 40 minutes long. It is way too fucking long. About an hour and 20 minutes, I was checked out of this film. I was like, man, they've been going around for about 30 minutes now, and this has been breaking loose. But honestly, I wasn't bored at all with the setup. I like the setup. I like the characters. I just wish it would have been more like when it's happening. And I just lost interest after a while. Now, this is the unrated version. I do know this is quite a few minutes longer, so that may have something to do with it. But this is the one that I've seen, so this is what I'm critiquing it on. And also, though, I do usually like unrated versions better, but maybe this is the one where an R-rated version might be better because. Yeah, I liked all of the characters. I didn't love them, but I liked them. There's no character development, but there's just so many things about this film that I found to be lacking for me. Personally, this is a slasher, and it takes itself super seriously. And there's very few laughs to be had. And I just, with a slasher like that, you have to be very, very good if you're going to take yourself wholeheartedly seriously. Like, Even Halloween has a lot of laughing moments in it. You know, there's a lot of moments where you're laughing pretty hard in it. You know, the only one that I think that takes itself like all serious that I think works is Cold Prey, and that's because that's a very, very it's very concise. I don't feel there's a minute wasted in that film at all. There's no wasted time in that film. This one, I felt like there was a lot of wasted time. There was a lot of wasted potential where, but overall, I'm still going to give it a decent score because I did really enjoy the characters. I did really think it was a well-crafted movie, well shot, well acted. I just had those gripes about the film. I'm still going to come in at a 7 out of 10. It's a good film. Again, this might be another one of those, give it a rewatch, maybe see how my emotions change on it. Thoughts change on it after that. All right, that's going to do it for today, guys. You got another one of those films that's out of the box coming for tomorrow, so be checking out with Day 16. Peace, guys.